Welcome, everyone. With me today is Mike Cohn, who is the head of product over at RangeMe. And we're going to talk a little bit about how RangeMe is leveraging some AI tools to make it easier and quicker for buyers to find the right products for their categories, specifically in limited time campaigns and immediate opportunities. So, Mike, thanks for joining us. And for those people who are not familiar, can you tell everybody what a limited time campaign and an immediate opportunity is?
Yeah, so those are actually kind of the same thing. Immediate
Hmm.
opportunities are basically when like a buyer has like a particular initiative that they're trying to source products for.
Hmm.
These can span all different kinds of categories. So we've got them across food and beverage, health and beauty, any of our like general merchandise. And for that initiative, right, they might be trying to source things like new innovative products for their line, or simply to refresh their existing assortment. Maybe they're looking for new private label manufacturers. But whatever sort of their initiative is, similar to like an RFP process, they can basically put out a call for suppliers to apply, to fill out an application and to submit their products for consideration. So at RangeMe, like we can tailor these applications, really customize them for the buyer so that we can ask the supplier custom questions, things that the buyer is really interested in, things that are most important to them as a part of this initiative. And then all of those submissions then get funneled right into the buyer's inbox so that they can go through and review them and find the ones that might be the best fit for them.
Gotcha. So they could be category specific or maybe around a theme like sustainability that might go across categories.
Yep, exactly. We've got some that are, yeah, exactly like that are entire store
Mhm.
across a bunch of different categories. But yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And then, so it's basically the same thing, the limited time campaign and immediate opportunities that may be just used interchangeably, or are there any specific differences?
No, those are actually identical. So an immediate opportunity is a campaign that runs for a limited amount of time.
Hmm.
So they might sort of open them up for submissions for maybe like a 2 week period, for
Hmm.
example. So suppliers have 2 weeks to submit in, and after those submissions are closed, similar to kind of like a job posting or something like that. Afterwards, a buyer can then look at all of the applications that have come in, do their reviews, and make their decisions.
Gotcha. So take us through the submission process. So you touched on so that they would submit their products, they may answer a few questions.
Yep.
What does the buyer see on their end, typically, before we get into the AI? Would they normally see?
Yep. So they see, like I said, they see all of those submissions come into their campaign. And so they get to see a list of every single one that's come in. We try to create a pretty efficient review process for them. Now, a buyer will review every single submission that comes in. Right. We want to make sure that they're finding sort of the best options amongst the bunch. We will add certain filters to those submissions to make sure that only qualified ones are actually hitting their desk. So ones that meet, any of their criteria, if they have certain restrictions like specific ingredients that they're looking for, or again, specific categories or sustainability standards or things like
Mhm.
that.
Gotcha. So how are we leveraging AI to kind of make that go a lot more efficiently?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, these some of these immediate opportunities can get a lot of submissions. And like I said, buyers they want to review every single one of them. And so that can become a pretty big task for them. So we want to make it as efficient for them as possible to really understand each brand and each product very quickly. So we are leveraging AI by basically pulling together all of a brand's data. So from their brand profile, from their products that they've submitted, as well as all of those application questions for the campaign. We sort of aggregate all of that data and summarize basically what the buyer is looking at. So when they're in each of these submissions reviewing them, we have a little summary blurb where we will explain, okay, here's what's interesting and unique about this brand. Here are a couple of key considerations as you're reviewing them, and some of like the most interesting points about them. Now, this is really meant to just sort of, again, make that initial reaction for the buyer, a lot more efficient, sort of gives them sort of the confidence to maybe do a deeper dive into this brand. They can still read through every single one of those questions that the supplier answered. They can still look through all of their products, really get a better sense of who the brand is. But the summary is sort of meant to give them just that initial reaction.
Cool. And there can be a lot of questions that the buyers request from the brands to answer, right?
Yep, that's right. And even though like they might need to know a lot of information about this brand if they're ready to move forward with them, right? We have found that, sometimes three or four of those questions are kind of like the first ones that they might go and look at,
Hmm.
again, to get their initial reaction. So we also can tailor these AI summaries. We can customize what information we summarize. So if they tell us, these are the three or four most important points for us, we can make sure that the answers to those questions are pulled into the summary so that they don't have to go hunting around throughout the application to find them.
Gotcha. So it sounds like it'll save the buyer a lot of time and also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like it may draw to their attention something that after reading through a bunch of applications they might have missed.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, yeah, it definitely can help them kind of find some of the diamonds in the rough or help them see things about brands that they might not have otherwise if they were manually having to read through absolutely everything.
Hmm.
And anecdotally, we have heard from buyers that it can save them 90% of their time while they're going through this review process. Because again, it really efficiently summarizes all the different disparate pieces of information all in one place.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, where are we going to be using AI next? If you can talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've kind of got plans to integrate it basically into all of our processes moving forward, right? AI is sort of like a tool that is essential for nearly everything that we do now. Right now, we have some immediate plans to kind of help us identify and surface trends within the industry to buyers and suppliers based on all the activity that's going on in the platform. And then we have some bigger visions down the line where it could help potentially even with suppliers in this application process, so make it more efficient on their end as well. Potentially help buyers with their category management and assisting them with their discovery. We definitely have a lot of ideas and plans for how to utilize it down the line.
Well, that's great. Well, lots of stuff coming down the pipeline, and we'll be sure to keep everybody posted on when they come out. So,
Yeah.
thanks a lot, Mike. This has been great stuff.
Of course, yep. Thank you, Joe.